So I thought we battled defensively, had a good plan. They made a couple nice plays there in the second half, but there's a lot of things improved defensively. Gave us a chance. Thought we did a good job in the kicking game and fell short offensively. We ran the ball much better. Our passing game was not good enough, particularly on third down. So we were like 1 of 10 on third down. That's hard to sustain drives and put points on the board. So, but I thought defensively we did some good things, and in the kicking game we did as well. Tracy's got a shoulder. Graham got hurt during the defensive introductions before the game. He was out there kicking and got a groin, so he couldn't go first half. And then he said he can kick from a certain distance in the second half. So that's about it. Not good enough.
Coach, what did you see in the way that they were playing in the secondary to limit Malik and Wandell's?
Yeah, I mean, they played a fair amount of split safety. So, we got a bunch of split safety last week. Just didn't get the job done this week with it.
Why do you think you couldn't get Malik the ball? He obviously didn't have a catch going into the fourth quarter there.
Yeah, we got to do a better job with that. No question about it.
What do you attribute that to? Game plan, quarterback?
Probably a collection of everything, Pat. Probably a collection of everything. Again, they were playing a lot of split safety coverage. They played it last week. Could be just a little bit different, but I'd say a collection of all that. We certainly got to do a better job with it.
Was the plan with Andrew Thomas, or did he?
Yeah, we were going to give him 25 plays, so that's what we gave him. And he came out, from what I understand, just fine. So that was the next step for the ramp up for him. Hopefully we'll be able to get some more this upcoming week.
How would you describe Russell Wilson's game tonight?
Yeah, I'd just say overall offensively, Connor, nothing was good enough. Coaching, playing, didn't do a good enough job. Everybody.
Brian, this is the second time you've had to play a game without a kicker.
Yeah.
Is it getting untenable to have that kicker when, it's...
Well, look, that's why Jamie kicks at practice too. I know they blocked that kick. We had a range for him as well, and him and Gunner had practiced before. But, just literally we're getting ready to go out for the anthem and saw him pull up on one of those kicks. So then we had to decide, what's the line now? The fourth downs change, throughout the game considerably. So we just had to, make sure we were dialed in with that. And then the second half, when he came back, there was another plan, but then we had two kickers. One was going to kick for a certain distance. The other one would kick a certain yard line in. So you got to do what you got to do.
In the first series, it's safe to say you would go for the field goal there?
Would have, yeah.
Brian, I know this is harping on it again, but you guys spent so much time this offseason stressing the need to start fast.
Yeah.
To be 0-3, how do you describe that?
Yeah, that's not the goal, certainly. So, again, it's we got to put a complete game together, all three phases, offense, defense, special teams, coaching. We got to do all that. Again, I thought our defense responded in a positive manner. But you only score once. Not good enough.
And the rhyme of reason when you put Jackson in, and then you get down, it seems like 3rd and 4, deep in the red zone, would be a perfect time to put him in. You don't put him in, you run Russ on his own. You're just trying to understand the thought process.
Yeah, I would say, look, we discussed a plan going into it, and Mike is in his flow of the game. I thought when he put him in and ran a couple of those zone reads, the first play we put him in was actually a pass, not a zone read. And then based on where we were on that particular play, where we got hit and lost a couple yards, there was a certain distance we were going to go for it. And we actually lost a yard, I think. And if we didn't get it, we didn't think we'd lose a yard on it, but we had a zone read on that play as well too. They just played it well, and he can run those.
Fans were. Go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, Dave, were you thinking at all about maybe getting Jackson a series or two just to try to change up the tempo of the offense?
Yeah, I'd say the plays we had him in, that's what we thought was best for him. And we'll continue to work with them and get him ready.
Is it?
Right, fans were calling for Jackson to get in the game, and then when you put Russell back in, they were booing him.
Yeah.
What would you say to the fan base that is calling for this rookie that you guys are obviously excited about, and they are too, after this offense looks like this?
Yeah. Look, Jackson's progressing well. We'll continue to work with him. I got a lot of confidence in him, his development that he's had, and that's what we'll continue to do. Look, I'd be booing too, to be honest with you, in terms of not being good enough. No, not scoring, not finishing. I understand that. That's the nature of it. We got to be better.
Brian, I know that Russell's been through a lot. He's seen a lot. He's endured a decent amount throughout his career. But I mean, when every time he steps back on the field to come back in and he's getting booed, I mean, how does he take that? Do you have to say anything to him? I mean, it's.
Yeah, no, I didn't have a conversation about that, and I don't think the coaches, the offensive coaches, they're talking on the sideline. They're looking at the plays that we just ran. They're going through the adjustments. They're talking about things that we should do the next series. That's where our focus has to be is looking at the things we got to improve on and do it.
Will you start next week, Russell?
Yeah, you guys have asked me about players after games. I'm not going to answer that.
Does not winning games or like getting off to a slow start change the approach? At least make you have to start thinking about, okay, when do we put our, obviously you invested a lot in Jackson, when do we put him in?
Yeah, like I said, we'll continue to work with Jackson, continue to develop him. He's done a nice job since he's been here, and again, we'll go back, we'll watch the tape, we'll sit down, we'll have our discussions like we normally have, and do what we think is best.
He's the number 2 quarterback, and this is 2 games now. The offense has been really bad. Like, at what point is Russ's performance dictate a decision strictly on Jackson's timeline?
Yeah, again, Dan, everybody's got to be better. We're not going to put this on one person. Everybody has to be better collectively. Again, the run game was a step in the right direction, but the pass game, particularly on 3rd down, when you're 1 of 10, that's tough sledding.
The connection between Russ and Skattebo.
Well, he had some checkdowns. There was a couple play action passes where he dropped back, and Cam's a tough competitor. Thought he ran hard. Thought he did a good job in the passing game when he got the ball in his hands. He's a good young player.
I understand that it's collective, it's the unit and everything, Brian. But you replace a guard, it's very rare that's going to ignite the offense. You replace a running back, it's probably not going to make a huge change. A quarterback has the ability to do that. Change a quarterback can ignite and kind of elevate everyone else. When do you have to start thinking about that or considering that if these struggles continue?
Yeah, again, Connor, look, it's on everybody. Takes 11 people to go out there and execute a play, a good call. It's everybody's involved in it. So we gotta keep working to get that better.
Do you think you guys had a good plan for what they did against you defensively?
Well, we didn't score hardly any points. So there's a lot of discussions on the sideline, trying different things. I thought the running game was well. They play a bunch of split safety. You got to be able to run the ball too, and make productive yards in that area. A 3rd down it wasn't good enough. So when you're 1 of 10, it's a combination of a lot of things, Dan.
In the first half, did the referees miss the face mask off? Did they talk to you about what they saw or didn't see on that?
Well, obviously they didn't see it because they didn't call it.
If Tracy, obviously, not knowing what his health is, if he can or can't go next week, how confident do you feel in Skattebo based on what he did tonight?
Yeah, again, we'll see where Tracy's at. I have confidence in Skat, though.
Can you talk about your connection with Skattebo?
Yeah, I thought Skattebo had a great game. He's battling. He did some really good plays. I think he made some really good plays on some of the scrambles and plays that we had to make. He's got a great demeanor to him. I thought he did a really good job.
And the touchdown of the game?
Yeah, he did a good job just getting. I think the line did a great job, run blocking on that one, and him getting in the end zone was a good play.
Russ, how frustrating is it now that there's 2 games you guys have not been able to get a touchdown through the air and just kind of get this offense going a little bit?
Yeah, I think it was obviously disappointing. Thought we had, it was a close game. It was a battle all the way. It was a tight game, and I think that we just needed 1 or 2 more plays. Obviously, I want to play better, for us and give us a better chance to win. The throw down the middle to Wandell, took a shot to him. They made a good play. And then, right before the half, I was trying to give one-on-one to Malik, and they made a good play on it. So, just try to give them a chance at it, and, they did a good job.
What was it about their scheme that just made it so much challenging compared to last week? Because they played some similar safeties, the way that they split.
Yeah, they're a good football team. They're talented. They're coached well and everything else. But, I think we just needed one big touchdown in that moment, somewhere in there. Right? We were hoping that we could get that right before half, and they made a good play.
Can you take us through that final fourth down, incomplete pass in the end zone at the end of the game?
Yeah, was trying to step up and get it to Theo, and just didn't really get to step into my throw the way I wanted it to. Tried to just give him a chance, and then the ball just kind of sailed on me, just trying to get it to him, but that was unfortunate.
What's going through your head when you're hearing the crowd chant "We want Dart" and just getting booed as he's coming off the field?
Yeah, I think there's highs and lows. There's always tough moments. There's you got to have thick skin. You know what I mean? Like you got to be able to know who you are, know the player that you are, know what you're capable of. Obviously, been able to show that throughout my career, and obviously, last week and everything else too, what we're capable of as an offense. I think that they made a couple more plays than us today. Like I said, it was a 9-6 game. For most of the part of the game, pretty tight, and we needed one or two big plays, and unfortunately, they didn't come our way.
How confident are you that you can kind of get back to what you guys showed a little bit last week and establish that as the consistent thing that you do every
Yeah, I'm confident in us. I'm confident in myself. Confident in the guys we have. Confident in the players that we have, the coaching staff, just all of that. I think that big part of it is just it was a tough game. It was a battle back and forth. And they made a couple more plays than we did.
You lose your kicker so quick, so early in the game, the last second there. Does it adjust the way that you figure out how you're going to go downfield on things, knowing that you're somewhat limited in field goals?
Yeah, I think that's tricky, especially in a tight game. The score's 9-6. You lose your field goal kicker early in the game. That was tough, just in the sense of we knew that we were going to have to go for it a lot on fourth downs and stuff like that. Those circumstances aren't favorable, but we got to be able to respond, and we still had a chance to win it.
How frustrating is it that this offense just hasn't been able to be that consistent force you want it to be? Like obviously the Dallas game is one, but 2 games now hasn't been what you wanted. How frustrating is it that it's not been a consistent offense?
Well, I think there's, it's a National Football League. You look across the league, there's tight games, there's close games. We've been in all of the games that we've played, with a chance. And I think that's what you want. Obviously, what we really want is to be able to win them. And, last week we had a chance to win it, twice. So we didn't get to do that. This week we felt like the game was tight and close, throughout the game. And like I said, they made, one or two more plays more than us.
You've been in the league for many years. You've seen a lot of situations. Do you get a sense that it takes a few things for teams just to gel and just get on a run, given the way you guys have started off so slow right now? Yeah, I mean, I think we've played 3 really good football teams. Obviously, the Commanders, Dallas, and these guys. I think that it was they've all been tight games. What we were able to do last week and scoring points and all that stuff, and being aggressive. And then this week, we tried to be aggressive. I tried to take a couple shots down the field, and try to make a play there. And they made, like I said, 1 or 2 more. I think if those plays happen, and the game's a completely different game. So I think that it just we got to keep our heads up, got to get back to work, focus on just like you said, just trying to be consistent throughout the game. We know it's going to be a tough battle. We didn't think it was going to be an easy game, or anything like that. We knew it was going to be, a battle back and forth. And I thought our defense played really well. They fought their butts off all day. Our special teams did too. I was proud of how we ran the ball, in certain moments too. I thought Scat, like I said, had a great game and how he battled. It's tough when you see a guy like Tracy, when your star running backs go down, the shoulder on the sideline. He had a good run, a couple good runs, and a couple good plays. I think that was tough for us, but I thought we continued to battle throughout.
Russ, I apologize if this was asked earlier, but what were they doing that made it so difficult for you to get the ball to Malik tonight? Yeah, I think they just did a good job covering for the most part throughout the day. They have a good pass rush. They do good things. They did a good job. Give them credit.
Take a few more. What are your conversations like with Malik post game or even during game as that's happening and you can't get him the
Sorry,
ball?
one more time.
What are your conversations like with Leak on the sidelines post game when you can't get him in the ball in those situations?
Yeah, obviously, we always want to try to find ways to get him the football. The game kind of, like I said, I tried to take a shot, in the red zone. They made a play. I tried to make a shot to them. They made a good play. Guy made a great catch on it. And so I think that there's moments in the game that we're trying to find him, whatever it may be. He's a tremendous football player. We obviously we love what he's capable of and what we're trying to do. And we got a lot of guys that can do a lot of good things.
If Tracy, for some reason, depending on his status, if he can't go next week, how confident are you guys in Skattebo based on how well he played today?
Yeah, I think Scat has done a great job of just picking up the offense. I think Motor's done a really good job, understanding, what to do and, how talented he is too. Obviously Tracy's as tough as nails. He's going to do everything he can to get back. I'm not sure there's circumstances or anything like that, but he's a great football player, and we're obviously if he can go, he's going to go. If he can't, I know he's going to do everything he can to get back as soon as possible.
Darius, 9-6 at halftime, you're down, and then still another situation where it's a one-score game in the fourth quarter. How difficult is it to be so close, yet it seems so far?
Yeah, I mean, we had that one drive in the second half, and it was 14-6, or what was the team score? Was it 14-6?
Oh, 16-9 at one point.
It was 16-9, yeah, it was 16-9, and we got down there in the red zone, and we didn't get a chance to finish with a touchdown right there. We had to kick a field goal. And drives like that, ideally you'd like to get in the end zone right there, and it puts you in a tie ball game at that point.
How difficult was it to go in at halftime down 9-6? It was 6-6, then they get the big penalty, and they get that field goal. Is that a big deflation thing for you guys when you come into the locker room?
Yeah, no, not really. I mean, we got to look at it as 0-0, go back out there and play our game, and just score points. I mean, that's our job as an offense. We just got to score points. That's it. So coming in 9-6, like that's a hope thing for us. Our defense has held them to 3 field goals. Like, we got hope, So, I'm excited to see what we got in the future, and we got to get this thing rolling and keep going.
Spags is a terrific defensive coordinator, does a lot of blitzing, a lot of run blitzing too. So as a rookie, what do you learn from a game like this, going up against a master DC like him?
Yeah, I mean, he was great. He had disguises that I've never seen before, and it looked like there was 9 guys coming in the gaps, and nobody came. So it's definitely a difference, but we have our keys and our assignments, and we know where to be at. We study all week for that, so we just got to continue to do our thing.
What was it like for you to get the reception from the crowd when you came in?
I didn't really pay attention to it. Just trying to get the call in to the huddle fast, and trying to just have a clean operation at the line of scrimmage. So that was really just my focus right now that on the field, is try to put our team in a good situation.
And so I don't know if you heard, but when it was a kind of an awkward thing, right? When you would come in, they would cheer, and then when you would leave, they would boo Russ coming back in. Did you notice that, or what do you make of that, or?
No, I was just focused on the play.
Jackson, what goes through your mind, or how do you process when you're on the sideline not playing, trying to learn, develop, all that stuff, but the offense is struggling without you out there? I mean, how do you kind of toe that line of wanting to support Russ, that kind of thing, believing, I'm sure, that you think you can help it?
Yeah, I'm just trying to be a really good teammate. Anytime he's coming up on the sideline, I like to just, kind of listen to, what he has to say, what his kind of perspective was on things, and then get the coaching points from the coaches, and, try to just do my best to encourage the guys around me. And I've said this before, but, that this is all kind of new to me. So I've tried to just, take a different perspective, and, obviously it's hard, when the offense isn't playing up to standard, and, kind of just how we prepare throughout the week. We expect to play really good. So I think it's just hard as a whole unit to see, things like this.
So yeah, at halftime I went out and I was able to hit, extra points pretty well. So we went for the.
How much pain was there for you, because they showed you a close up right after you kicked?
Yeah,
you winced pretty good.
I was in a lot of pain, for sure. But I still feel like don't want to put the team in a harder spot, just not playing at all. So I tried to push through it, and they were definitely concerned, but I told them I could push through it and at least make from 40 and in. So that was the plan, and I'm glad I was able to go out there and get the field goal for us.
That first series, you're watching, you're seeing, and teams marching down, certainly in your field goal range. Is it kind of a sick feeling to know that you're not available for these guys at this point?
100%. It's frustrating, especially with a pool. You can't control that, and that's. I remember somebody was asking me questions just this past week about it. Why am I feeling so good and everything, and then this happened. So it's frustrating, but I only control what I can from here on. So I'll try to do what the trainers and doctors are saying and get back as quick as possible.
40 and in was the range you were thinking of that you probably could do?
Yeah, that was kind of. I went back to 45, and it was pushing it a little bit on my leg. So. But yeah, I was making everything from 40 and in, and the training staff did a great job, wrapping it and getting me ready to go.
So at this point, you think you might miss a little bit of time?
I have no idea.
You felt so it was a pregame warm-up.
Yeah.
Did you feel rushed at all at the end? Because Daboll mentioned just that it was right at the end when the defense was being introduced.
Oh no, I mean that's the normal. Warm-up. I haven't changed my warm-up in 17 years. So, I've been doing the same stuff, and I felt good. I was drilling field goals in warm-ups, and during the defensive intros, I was hitting it really well until, it pulled.
So it wasn't like a rush to cut off?
No, not at all. Not at all. Everything was exact same as usual.
Why you sat out the rest of the second half and that final
that was just a game plan that we had set to see how I respond, and hopefully that continues to build through the next few weeks.
How did it feel to get back in there?
Oh, great. I missed football. I had fun out there, obviously. We'd love to get the win, but it's progress.
How would you assess your performance tonight, personally?
Yeah, I was definitely rusty. It's been a while taking a live rep like that, but like I said, I was happy to be back out there.
Do you feel like you could have gone more physically, like aside from the plan? Like, did you feel like you were able to go more?
That's kind of what we discussed before, and regardless of how I felt, the game plan was to play that amount of snaps so I don't have any more setbacks.
Yeah. Andrew, for the time that you were in there, what part of your game came back the quickest and you felt good about, and what parts of your game do you still think didn't come back?
Yeah, I think I did a good job in the run game, communication with the guys around me, and I think there's some things in the past game I can tighten up and get my set back to where it was before.
Are you on track, you think, for a full game next week, or is it going to take a couple more weeks?
I'm not going to make any predictions. We'll see how it responds tomorrow, and we'll talk about the plan and see where we go from there.
What do you think this offense needs to do to kind of be more consistent and get over the hump?
I would say just execution all the way around. There's a lot of plays that we leave on the field. One position group is doing well and the other one isn't. To have a good offense, all 11 have to execute, and that's what we got to work on.
Andrew, appears from upstairs that Skattebo really gives you guys an extra spark when he makes one of those physical plays. What's it like in the huddle, and what's it like when you see him on the field make a play like that? Is there really much of an impact?
No, you can tell Skat's a football guy. He just loves ball, and it shows in his play. And when you have a running back that runs like that, that gets the offensive line going for sure.
Thank you.
What's it like, hearing the crowd kind of chant for Dart, like we want Dart, and then boo when he comes off the field? What's going through your head and your teammates' head?
Just ignore it. Honestly, there's going to be controversy. I trust in the coaching staff. I trust in our players, and whoever's out there we want to support.